I will be a president for disease, joblessness, and hopelessness, anger, resentment, and hatred, extremism, lawlessness, violence, bitterness, and fury. No progress, no nation, only a state of chaos.
Don't piss down my back and tell me it's raining.
We're gonna hold. 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 We're gonna hold the line.
Back in some form.
Too many of us think it is impossible. Too many think it is unreal. But that is a dangerous, defeatist belief. It leads to the conclusion that we are gripped by forces we cannot control. Ladies and gentlemen, prepare for the storm MAGA.
Can hear you.
All right. Well, we're back with inTruthNews, and we have an awesome guest, Craig Hagin, who has been with us before.
Yes. Let's bring him on.
Hey, Craig, how you doing? Oh, I gotta put his mic on. Oh, there you go.
All right, can you hear me?
Gotcha.
Yes, we can.
I'm doing great. How you doing?
We can't complain.
Good. We're doing good.
All right.
So, you want to take over?
Yeah.
I think he's trying to fix his mic. We're having technical difficulties, but that's okay.
Well,
It's okay.
that's okay. We got lots of.
And my background doesn't. It's like not right, but that's okay.
That's okay as long as you're in the picture.
I usually do a virtual background, but I can't with StreamYard. But so that's fine. I have this black background, but doesn't.
Yeah.
My camera. I can't get my camera adjusted, but we're here. We're excited. It's Eclipse Day.
That's right. It's Eclipse Day. Happy Eclipse Day.
Yeah. Yeah, Jesus is going to be returning today, so I hope everybody's ready.
Yeah, we might need to say the sinner's prayer on the program today for everybody's ready to go.
Yeah, we might just have to do that.
Yeah, we got a little bit of mic feedback.
Yeah, it's coming from my mic. I don't know why. All right, let's see.
I shut off my mic. Go ahead.
Okay. All right. Let's try this one here. Dun, 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 dun. And
Now you're muted.
can you hear me?
Okay, you sound great now.
Okay, good. All right. So we labeled this show In These Times, and we're gonna pretty much give this over to you because I want you to share about what's been going on. We want you to share lately since last year, the changes and what your take is on what's going to happen in the political realm, in the spiritual realm, in all kinds of realms. And let's pray first. Lord, bless our brother Craig and all his words and the words that we share today, that they will affect the masses. Lord, we give you glory and honor.
Your mic is real low again.
Again? Okay.
There we go.
I see. All right. So what's been going on lately with Rhema and all that?
We're excited here at Rhema Bible College. We're fixing to celebrate our 50th graduating class coming up next month, and so we're pretty excited about that. 50 years of training the Bible. If you want to check us out, rbtc.org, rbtc.org. You can check out Rhema Bible Training College. In fact, we're having this week is our college weekend, so I think we have about 150, 200 people coming for college weekend to check out Rhema. We are the most affordable Bible school in the nation, and we're excited what God's doing. You know, it just seems with the climate we're having today, more and more people are interested in studying about the Bible and also going to a school that's not a woke school. And so we've seen our attendance go up by 25% of the last few years, and I think it's going to continue, or maybe even more. So excited about what God's doing. We have around the world, we have trained over 120,000 graduates, and so things are going great at Rhema. As far as the political landscape, I happen to be co-founder of Pastors for Trump. I do believe that President Trump will win this election. I do believe that they'll try to cheat. I don't sure what they're going to try to do. And that's one thing too. You know, we need to be praying right now. And we should have been praying a long time ago. But if you haven't been praying, we need to be praying for this election will be a free and fair election. We also need to be praying about all these lawsuits. Couple of things. First of all, the judges will rule, fairly. Secondly, that God will guide the hands of the lawyers, because in some of the previous Trump lawsuits, the lawyers didn't do some right things or some things or whatever, and that's why that we didn't get some things overturned in the last election. We also need to pray that any kind of evil forces that's going to try to stop this election, will cease to exist. I know there's some lawsuits as well to make sure that there's a free and fair election. But if we don't have a free and fair election this time, we probably will never have one in the United States of America. So this is a very pivotal thing. But I do believe, I believe President Trump will win. Obviously, he's leading in the polls. Obviously, we can't not do 4 more years with our fake President Biden. This is, now I don't believe he's running the country. I don't know who is. I don't know if it's Obama. I don't know who is. But whoever's running this country is running it into the ground. And it's just, it's amazing how someone that supposedly loves America can do what's going on. I mean, as a pastor, and well, even in any individual, we see so many people that are hurting, can barely afford to feed themselves, or having to, every month put stuff on credit cards just to make the the monthly bills. And then, stuff like minimum wage going up, it's not going to help. Do you realize in California, minimum wage going up to $20 an hour? Well, that means your hamburger's going to cost more money. That means everything's going to cost more money. So now $20 an hour is going to be like $10 an hour. So it's not going to really matter. We need someone who really understands economics, in there. And I'm fairly highly optimistic. A lot of people look at me like, why are you so optimistic? Well, I just believe, the truth is going to win out. And I don't know. I'm way more optimistic now than I was in 2020. And so I'm excited what God's doing. Now, I told you, at the pre-show that I have now become a pen pal from someone that calls this person calls himself Satan. They actually live in Denver, Colorado, according to the post, the postage stamp. This happens to be the Satanic American flag. This is my first one. I got one last year. Then this year, man, he's really, all out. This one says that Satan loves me, who I am, and this one's just from The Exorcist. I mean, this is gross. I want to read a few of these to kind of, you kind of know what Satan's saying. This is the very first one. And he calls me, he says, "Dear Craig, our servants in government and media are aware of your vain efforts to restore your modern guru, Donald Trump, to the presidency. You will fail. America's is ours. Prideful godliness, sexual perversion, and gross immorality are here to stay. The 2 millennial of your Christ are finished. The kingdom of darkness rises. Your children will convert to our ways. Abandon hope from hell, Satan." And they put a 666 there. It's kind of hard because they put a 666 right here. So that was the first one. I won't read the second one because that's no big deal. This one right here. Let's see. Right. No, this one says, "Dearest Craig." So now I'm Dearest Craig. "By now it's clear to you that our servants are winning this spiritual war. Your faith falters. The light of your Christ dims. There is still time for you to join the rising kingdom of darkness. If you choose not to, then abandon hope and embrace despair. Hell on earth is here. From hell, Satan." Once again, 666, here. And I'll read my last one that I got last week. Let's see. Right here. It says, "Dearest Craig," once again, I'm still dearest. "Our servants have cursed your orange idol, causing his mental disintegration. Soon he will be a vegetable. The old gods are rising, Craig. Soon America will be the nation of Baal, Astarte, let's see, Samuel, and Lilith. The many will sweep away the one from hell, Satan." And this one, I don't know what this symbol is. Some kind of satanic symbol right here.
That's a fallen angel symbol.
Yeah. So, so they send it right here to the church. People don't like opening my mail because some people are afraid of this, but there's nothing to be afraid of. These are just cards. All right.
Yeah.
We have power over the enemy. The devil,
Right.
Jesus defeated the devil 2,000 years ago. These have no power. What this shows me is this person who's not really Satan, he's being used by Satan, is actually afraid. They think for whatever reason that I might turn to their wicked ways or whatever. This is kind of gross. I didn't see the movie, but I just
Exorcist.
whatever. So anyway, so that's what's going on. Me and Satan are so someone said, "Hey, Craig, why don't you write Satan back?" Because there's no return address. And so I'm like, I had one of my assistants, try to look up, trying to find the Satanic Church in Denver, Colorado. Unfortunately, there's 5 of them. So I'm not sure which one of the 5 that this person, I don't know who this person is. I just know that, I guess he likes me, or I guess he loves me because Satan loves me right here. He loves me, and
Wow.
It's just pretty crazy. I don't know anyone else. Well, I backed it up. I do know Jackson Longmire when I got my first one. Jackson Longmire got one, and Sean Foyt got one as well. But as far as I know, I'm the only one that keeps getting them.
Wow.
you know, if I know Jackson hasn't got any more. I'm not sure about Sean. I haven't talked to him, but you know, but I don't
That's
know why
crazy.
Satan just likes to give me these letters. I think that I don't know if he's trying, if it's a scare tactic or whatever. It just motivates me more to understand that, hey, I'm doing the right thing.
Yeah.
I know the left is very afraid right now. They know that they're losing. And Satan knows that his time is short. You know,
Yeah.
and you know, I guess I'm doing something right in the spiritual
Well,
realm to get
yeah,
letters from Satan. So
that's right. Well, you know what? God is way greater, and I just pray that that person be convicted and changed just by even having the nerve to send you guys these postcards. Really, in Jesus'
yeah.
name.
Amen. Yeah, you know, I mean, this person's obviously, you know, mentally having some, you know, issues or whatever, and Satan's using this person because, and we wrestle not against flesh and blood. We don't wrestle against this person. We wrestle against principalities, powers, and rulers from on high. That's why I tell people, you know, some people get mad at, you know, whether it's Joe Biden, whether it's, you know, someone else, but we don't wrestle against the person. We wrestle against the people behind the people, and that's Satan himself, and you know. And we need to pray for these people. I mean, you know, they're delusional. I mean, especially someone that calls himself Satan. You know, I don't know if this is a joke. I don't know what it is. I just know that I keep getting them now. You know, this year it seems like every other week. I come up with a new postcard, and so maybe he likes it that I publicize, you know, his postcards, because every time I get one, I talk about it from the pulpit. I talk about it from podcasts. I talk about it all the time, you know, just because I think it's crazy, and I don't know anybody else. You know, I know there's a movie called Postcards from the Edge. Well, this is really Postcards from the Edge in real life. So it is what it is. But I am very highly optimistic. You know, we're in a battle, both spiritually, you know, and naturally, and you know, something else too. We have to realize, you know, we're focusing a lot on Donald Trump's election, and we need him to win. But we need to also focus in on congressional races, because if Donald Trump wins and we lose the Senate and the House, you know, that's going to really, you know, not help us. And so we need to make sure we don't put all our focus in on that, and also focus in on these Senate races and congressional races, because, you know, there's going to be cheating going on there as well. And so we need to make sure that. Now, something else, we need to make sure we're registered to vote. That's one thing I keep, you know, pushing.
Right.
Make sure you're registered to vote. Now, every person, because a lot of people, a lot of candidates, I help out a lot of candidates, you know, with a lot of advice, and I've actually worked on campaigns since I was like 12. My first campaign was I guess it was 1982. Daxton, Tom Daxton ran for governor here in Oklahoma. Now, I didn't know anything about Tom Daxton. All I knew was my best friend's brother-in-law had an older sister. His brother-in-law was a campaign manager, and I just helped pass stuff out and wore Tom Daxton stuff. And I went to the fair for free, so that was a really cool thing. So that was my very first campaign. I've kind of been, you know, involved in politics ever since, and helped a number of people run their campaigns. And one thing I let everybody know is, if you're going to run a campaign, every time you have an event, register people to vote, because a lot of people come to events, you know, they're all excited, and they never get registered to vote. And in fact, you know, it hasn't worked yet, but I tell Clay Clark, when he has those big events, you need to have somebody there to register people in that state. Now, I realize people come from other states, you know, as well. But nowadays, in the society we live in, you can go online a lot of places and register online, or you can at least go online and print it out and send it in. If you some states, I know in Oklahoma, it's okvoterportal.com. You can go there and get registered, and you know, I think that's a big thing, because we need to get registered and we need to vote. And you know, now I don't want to say vote early and vote often, but we need to vote. You know, but
After all, we're not Democrats.
yeah, but we do need to vote, and for some reason, you know, if you're not sure whether you're going to be make it to the polls, especially a state like Florida, you have a lot of people, you know, that are elderly and things like that, you know, so do the proper things to do early voting and things. That's one thing. The Democrats are really good about early voting. One of my friends just ran for city council. In the normal election, she was 14 votes from getting 50+1, and so they had a runoff in this runoff, she didn't do the due diligence. The other candidate actually took people to the polls and made sure they got there. It was kind of a bad day, and she ended up losing by 30 votes or something. You know, you have to, in Muskogee, Oklahoma, not a lot of people vote. It was only like 200 people who actually voted. And I think there's like 12,000 people in her district, and 200 people came because it was the only thing on the ballot. And so the other candidate helped. I mean, they made sure that they gave bus rides, they gave, you know, whatever, get people to the polls. And that's something that we have to, as Republicans, we got to think about making sure these people get to the polls. And so I want to encourage all our listeners out there, you know, get involved in your local thing. I'm very involved in Tulsa and Oklahoma in the political scene. You know, I just was at CD1 convention this last weekend where we picked our delegates to go to the RNC. And so I'm very involved. You know, a lot of people say that they want to make a change, but they don't want to come to you know, do anything really, but sit at home and do nothing. And
Right.
you know, this is a very pivotal point. You know, I do believe in prayer. I mean, I obviously I'm a pastor. I believe that we should pray for them. I believe we should be praying, but you know, we should also be doing something. My grandfather always taught me there's two things: pray for this nation and vote. You know, it's your God-given right, you know, to be able to vote in this country. And you know, of course, obviously, he's always in his lifetime every vote counted. In our lifetime, I'm not sure that that's the case. But the fact of the matter, if you don't vote, your vote's definitely not going to get counted. Because I know some people are mad and they say, "Well, I'm just not going to vote anymore." Oh, well, that's not going to help. I mean, you know, that's just going to mean it just takes less to cheat, you know, to be able to overcome. Because see, what people don't realize in the 2016 election of Hillary Clinton, they have found that there was a lot of fraudulent votes going on. They just could not pack enough fraudulent votes to win the election. They wouldn't have done it either in 2020. That's why they had to stop counting. You notice there's a number of states they stopped counting because they knew that they didn't pack the ballot box, you know, enough. I mean, you know, you hear all kinds of stuff where someone supposedly voted 12 times or whatever, or someone used someone's name. I mean, it's all over. I mean, everybody knows. I mean, even Democrats, most of them believe that things, you know, if they're heart of hearts, they don't believe. I mean, this guy, he campaigned in his basement. All right. I'm here to tell you, I've worked on a lot of campaigns. You can't not sit in your basement and campaign and win elections. You got to get out and meet people, talk to people, you know, and he's not the most friendliest guy anyway. So, you know, we just got to make sure that we do what we can to win this election. Not just nationally, even with your cities and even with your states. You know, here in the Tulsa area. Now I'm sitting in Broken Arrow, Oklahoma. We're a suburb of Tulsa. We're 100% Republican and everything. But in Tulsa, our Tulsa City Council is about half and half because it's a nonpartisan race. So you cannot say whether you're Democrat, Republican. And in fact, we just flipped a couple of seats. The Democrats actually had the majority. It was like 6-3 majority, and we flipped a couple of seats now. But because you cannot you don't advertise whether you're Democrat, Republican. You just advertise that they, you know, constitutionalist or whatever.
That's where discernment comes in too.
Yeah, and so there's a lot of people, and they did that because in Oklahoma, we're the reddest state in the nation. All 77 counties voted for President Trump in 2016 and 2020. And so in Oklahoma, pretty much if you put an R by your name, that means you're probably going to win. And so, in fact, the real election in Oklahoma is the primary, which happens in June, because, you know, that's, you know, it's very rare. Only in a few counties can a Democrat actually win. And the Democrats who do win are not like the Democrats, you know, in New York or whatever. They're what they call the blue dog Democrats. You know, they're maybe like a Joe Manchin type Democrat, you know, where you know, they're more moderate or you know, because but we got to make sure all across the board, because a lot of times, you know, my personal self, I've been more involved in the national type stuff. You know, some of my friends have ran for Congress, governor, things like that. And I haven't really wasn't concerned until about 4 years ago or so, maybe 4 or 5 years ago, about those city elections. And so I've gotten involved more in the city and the county elections to make sure that we because these people we found during COVID, these people who are your mayors and your city council members and things like that, they have a lot of power over you. We found out during the whole COVID situation. They try to
True.
and they're going to try something again. I mean, they're going to try some kind of. Now I heard that they were going to do the bird flu. It was going to be actually worse than COVID, but someone on CNN, not CNN, on Fox reported that the bird flu shouldn't even that humans can't catch the bird flu for whatever reason, or shouldn't be able to catch the bird flu. So, they're going to come up with something. I mean, I don't know what's going to happen, but I do know that there's something going to happen. They're going to try to lock us down somehow, some way.
I'm waiting for the shoe to drop.
They're gonna have Big Bird getting vaccines.
Well, and that's something too. The whole vaccine thing. Not just a COVID vaccine, but now these older people. I mean, Pfizer's like, have you got all your vaccines? Have you got your flu vaccines? Have you got your what is that other one? RSV vaccine? I mean, they're like scaring these old people. Make sure you get your vaccine.
Yeah.
And then the way I understand, if you go to Walgreens to get a flu vaccine, they're going to try to fully vaccinate you with everything that they got. And, it's really a money-making deal more than anything else. They don't care whether you get sick. They don't care whether you die. I mean, we know that. And they don't care whether the vaccine works or not. I mean, that's a whole nother thing. If your dog got 2 rabies vaccines and 3 boosters and still got rabies, you'd be pretty mad about it. So, but that's what's going on. I mean, I know people who've had 3 booster shots and they've had COVID like 12 times or something. Maybe not 12. Okay. I'm exaggerating, but like 5 times, and so I'm like, okay, I've never been vaccinated or, I just don't get COVID, but of course COVID cannot live in my body. That's something else from a spiritual standpoint. Sickness and disease cannot live in my body, according to the word of God.
Amen.
It says that by his stripes we were healed. And so, I actually, for a while, when COVID started, you understand, when COVID first came out, none of us really knew the truth. I mean, we actually thought it might be very serious, and I do want to say this because people did die during this, and so, but I'm here to tell you, people die of all kinds of things. I had one of my friends, 53 years old, just died of a heart attack 2 days ago. I mean, I say, one of my friends, I haven't seen him in years. We went to high school together, and I just heard the other day. Now, I have no clue whether he got vaccinated or he lives in Kansas City. I don't know if it, what the deal is. But every time someone dies of a heart attack, I always wonder, did they get vaccinated? One thing here too, especially when they're a younger individual. As a pastor, sometimes I just want to ask so bad, but I'm doing these funerals, but I don't want to, but I kind of want to know. I do know that my own cousin, she actually, her husband would not go get the vaccine, but she did, and she ended up dying. And the family blames the vaccine on that. But she had some things going on in her body, and so she trying to do the right thing to what her mind was the right thing. Her husband told her not to do it, and she did it anyway. And unfortunately, she passed. I mean, I just don't know anything about. And people ask me, about those kind of things. Like when the vaccination first came out, it wasn't really about what everything that's in the vaccination. It's about that this has not passed the FDA. I mean, even the method that the RNA modifying technology hadn't even passed clinical trials yet. I mean, it never got past the animal trials, and they decided to try it on humans. And so, for me, I had a great conversation, a podcast with myself, Clay Clark, and Dr. Zelenko, and we were able to ask Dr. Zelenko all kinds of questions. This is right when the vaccine just became available. And I actually asked Dr. Zelenko, I said, okay, Dr. Zelenko, I'm a pastor. There's going to be a lot of people that's going to ask me what I think about this vaccine. And I think I know what you're going to tell me, but I want you to tell me right here on this podcast. And here's what he says. He says, Craig, vaccination takes 8 to 10 years to pass, to be accepted by the FDA. He says, let's just say it this way. You ask me 8 years from now, and I'll tell you what I think about the vaccine. He goes, but right now we have so many alternative treatments. There is no reason for a vaccine. And he did say, the if you are going to get one, the Johnson and Johnson uses the older vaccine technology, which means they give you a portion of COVID, and that's what happens. Now they didn't want you to get that one because that one didn't have the modifying technology in it. The other one, they don't really give you the disease. They actually give you some kind of genetic code that's supposed to create something in your body, which is very kind of scary to me, and here's what he told me. He says, Craig, I just want to let you know, I've never been anti-vax on anything. And he also was one of the first ones that used hydrochloroquine. And we asked him, why did you do it? Why did you pick that? And he pointed, and I've seen it. I pointed. He pointed out to 2007. The NIH did a deal, and they said that hydrochloroquine was the gold standard for a coronavirus, and so that's why he did it. So Dr. Fauci's own group told everybody, if there's a coronavirus, you should use hydrochloroquine until COVID happened, and then he said, "Oh no, that's not good." Now here's the reason. I'll tell you what people don't know. The reason that none of these things could work, because if any of these alternative things could work, then they could not get the temporary FDA thing in order to use that vaccine. It was all about the money, and all about the money, and I believe population control, which is kind of a whole scary thing that people.
Well, you want to hear something crazy? I'm
Go
going to
ahead.
share this with you. Now, look, I spent over 25 years in the pharmaceutical industry before I left that corruption.
Oh, so you know all about it.
Yeah. So my friend Dan, he was a PhD pharmacist, and I remember when it came out, I said, "This is not a vaccine," and he goes, "No, it's a bioweapon," and that we have 72,000 genetic strands from our mother and 72,000 from our father. This vaccine that they created has another 72,000 genetic strands of what? And I believe that, and I heard this from someone, which was very interesting. They said Satan can't be everywhere at once like God or Yeshua, Jesus. So through this was a way that he could, this is probably a manufactured synthetic version of his DNA because he's a fallen angel. And, so it's very deep what they've done. And like you said, they've scared so many people into taking it. I remember I had a very dear friend was in the hospital. He got it, right? He got COVID. And he was on 20 liters a day of oxygen, and his wife was going to make them give him the vaccine, and so I had done a show that night, and thank God she watched it, because she said, no way, no way, no way. And at the time he wasn't even coherent because they had him all kinds of drugs. But the whole thing is that it's about, you're lucky you get postcards from hell, love postcards from Satan, but Lucifer hates humanity. That's why all these idiots I call them idiots.
He loves me according to my postcard.
Yeah. And by the way, here's a $50 coupon if you go get my vaccine. That's how much I love you. And then I'm going to give you a coupon for McDonald's for one of their nuggets meals, But anyway.
Well, I think he loves me so much he wants to warn me because he wants me to join his team or whatever. I don't know. It's just crazy. I mean, I've never in my lifetime I never dreamed that someone calling themselves Satan would write me a postcard, much less one. I do get a lot of hate mail. I do let you know. In fact, when I got my first postcard, this is the honest truth. Okay, so the gentleman who works our partner services. That's where all the mail comes in. It was a Friday. He said, "Hey, Craig, are you still in the office?" I said, "No, I've already gone home." He goes, "Well, he said, "We got a letter here from Satan." I said, "Well, I'll pick it up on Monday." Now, when I went to go pick it up, I really thought he was talking about some older lady that, that was mad at me from saying something from the pulpit, because I do it all the time. You know, I go, "This is really from Satan." I actually thought it was going to be from some lady, because people gripe all the time of me saying something. Now I actually get love. I get letters at my house now. There's someone in San Bernardino, California, that's really mad at me for liking President Trump, and so they say I'm very unspiritual, and so they send me letters at work and at home. Somehow, some way, they got my home address, and so and they sign it different names. So there's like 5 or 6 different names. So I don't know if it's one person doing the same thing. They're all from San Bernardino, California. So I got some godly dude from San Bernardino, and I got some satanic dude from Colorado that write me on a regular basis. But it is
well,
what it is.
I believe that's actually Satan, because he has a condo in Breckenridge there in Colorado. So he's probably like, he knows, well, I know your grandfather. I couldn't stand him back then because of all the people he delivered and cast out all my demons. So I hate this guy. So I gotta send him a fake love letter.
Yeah. So it's just pretty crazy. Yeah. So I'm always waiting for my next one. It's like I think it was three weeks or so, and I'm like, I hadn't got one in a while, and boom, it popped out. So you just never know. I'll probably have one next week as well. I mean, it seems like every other week here coming up. I don't know what he's going to keep saying, because there's not much more to say. And so one of them, he referred to some serial killer that like chopped up body parts, and saying that
Wow.
saying something like that we used him. And right here said we possess Justin Moen, which I had to look him up, to discredit your movement, to paint you as unhinged lunatics. It worked. He will do it again. Tell you who will name. Let's see. Tell who you will name. None will believe you. Oh, it said, if I tell people, they're not going to believe me. The kingdom of darkness rises. Abandon hope. Embrace despair. From hell, Satan. Yeah.
Yeah, they're writing those letters to themselves, because that's exactly what's getting ready to happen.
Yeah. And so, well, let's change the subject. And I don't have an opinion here. I don't know my opinion. The barge that hit the Francis Scott Key Bridge. I mean, I've heard all kinds of stuff. I'm still trying to figure it out. Is this an accident? Did somebody, through, whatever, take over the ship and mess the controls up? Was this an intentional, explosion? Things happen. I don't really know. I'm still trying. The jury's still out. In my thing, I do know. I didn't realize how big that barge is. So the tallest building in Oklahoma is in Oklahoma City now, and that barge is 66 stories or whatever, and that barge is long. That boat is longer than that. So I do get it. In order to turn something like that, it is not that easy. Now, I get it. It's a Francis Scott Key Bridge. I mean, that he wrote, the Star Spangled Banner. I do understand that. So what is your take? I mean, I'm still, the jury's out on I'm still trying to figure this out. Whether it's an attack, whether it's not, and then I've heard that was they did that so people didn't realize what's going on at P. Diddy's house. So or vice versa. So, man, I don't know what's going on at P. Diddy's house, but I think P. Diddy needs to go hide somewhere, because I think all hell's fixing to break loose on his situation.
Well, if you watch the video of the barge, it was like it was a sudden turn, and then it went into the bridge, but you see the lights go out.
Mm-hmm.
But I'm pretty sure that whoever was driving that barge was paid to smash into that bridge,
So
And
you think that person did it on purpose, or you don't think it was
yeah,
like?
I think yeah, because I was reading some comments from there was a naval officer, retired veteran who used to drive ships and stuff, and he said that could have been avoided. There was no way, even with the power off, they could have avoided that. That was very intentional, you know. And that was a main thoroughway of a lot of truckers and so forth that would go over that bridge. But if you look at the bridge when it was collapsing, they were like looked like little detonations. Did you see them?
Yeah, I
Where they
saw
were
'em, yeah.
connected. You know, the only other thing I can think is that's where the electricity was, but
Yeah.
I think it was intentionally hit hard enough. You know, they hit it hard enough, but there was also probably some assistance there as well. You know, of course, they're going to call it conspiracy, but you know, all these conspiracies have now come true because, you know, I watched that video so many times, and you could see like it was an intentional turn in the way it hit it, and then all those containers were valuable containers. I think they had food and stuff in them. They're trying to cut our food supply. They're trying to poison us. They're trying to, you know, do everything they can against humanity right now. So you remember all the plants that were caught on fire.
Yeah.
There was also a bridge in Oklahoma recently that got hit as well, but it wasn't as traumatic, you know.
Yeah, well, evidently here in Oklahoma, because that we actually have things in the water that's supposed to stop actually from hitting the bridge itself. For the most part, I don't. I think that failed, but I think it did hit the thing. I don't think it hit the bridge hard enough to collapse the bridge because it hit the whatever the outer
Yeah.
barrier was first. People don't realize that Tulsa, Oklahoma, is the most inward port city in America. In fact, they actually call it Catoosa. They call it Port City
Oh, wow.
because so basically they run up Mississippi River, come from the Gulf of Mexico, Mississippi River to the Arkansas River, to the port of Catoosa, and so we actually have the most inward port, and so all our bridges are protected, because they do a lot of shipping, you know, on our waterways. Which I know it sounds really weird, but it's also come right in the middle of the country,
Yeah.
that they ship things in from all over the place, you know. So it's pretty crazy to see all the containers being, and then obviously the railway is right there, and because we're the center of the country, it's easy to get, you know, from there to all over the United States. Also, people don't realize is that a lot of telecommunications run through Tulsa. Back in the day when Williams Company they ran pipelines for oil and gas all across the United States. They also buried fiber optics. And so, like in the Super Bowl, all the big things come through Tulsa, Oklahoma. So it's pretty wild that Tulsa is pretty popular when it comes to those kind of things. And so, if someone wants to cut telecommunications, we would be one of the places, you know, that they would hit. Which,
Wow.
most people don't know that. Also, actually, one of the biggest military things is in Oklahoma that actually creates bombs. Remember that Moab bomb that we dropped over in Afghanistan or whatever? That they build that in McAllister here, and so
Oh, wow.
so some people think Oklahoma wouldn't be a target, but there's a couple of things why we would be a target. You know, especially
Sure.
the scary part about it is you blow up a bomb factory, it's going to probably do a lot of damage.
Yeah,
So
that's true.
but you know, like I said, I haven't been paying a whole lot of attention. I watched the video, and I did talk to an electrician, and he said, yeah, there is electricity running through the thing, and it's made that if something breaks to like instantly shut off. So that could have been fireworks. It could have been, or not fireworks, not explosives. I don't know. I mean, now technically, if I want to do more damage, I would have done it in the middle of the daytime. But that's me being evil. I mean, you know, because there was not too many cars on the bridge. Most people on the bridge were fixing potholes, and so you know, so I guess that's a good thing. I mean, you know, if they at least spared a lot of people who could have died if they would have done it during rush hour, you know, in morning or afternoon. So you know, I guess
That's true.
you know, we can pray for that. I mean, that's a good thing, but it's, you know, that port's going to be shut down for quite a while. I mean, you know, I know that they're trying to open up. It won't be full capacity, And then obviously the roadway across that bridge. I mean, there's other bridges, but that's the main thoroughfare. So that's going to be, an issue for a long time. And, bridges don't get rebuilt very quickly. But why is our tax dollar going to be paying for this bridge and not the insurance companies? That's a whole nother thing.
Yeah, that doesn't make sense.
Yeah, that's what makes you think it has to be, an issue.
Right.
Because we're going to pay for it with our tax dollars. I mean, that just sounds crazy. You would think that the United States government would go after this insurance company, whoever insures this big barge,
unless that's their penance.
Yeah. Now, the other side of this is really kind of, my wife goes, I hope there were no, kids in those containers, being shipped in sex trafficking. I never thought about that, but if you saw the movie, that they were, that's what they did. And so, so that was our first thought when that happened. I hope there's no kids in there, or illegal aliens or whatever in some of those barges, which, I know that shouldn't even be a thought, but it is.
No, but that's an honest thought. That's
Yeah, that was her first thought, actually. Wasn't the port, wasn't the whatever. I hope there's no kids. And she started praying, if there's any kids, that they'd be saved. I mean, that's and we just don't realize. I guess we do realize, but it doesn't ring a bell. How many people come across our border? I mean, they tell us, but it's just crazy. This whole thing is crazy. I don't see how someone, because I've always felt in my lifetime, I don't care whether you're Democrat, Republican, I've always felt that the person being the president loved this country and was going to try to do everything in their own mind. Maybe their policies are different than my policies, but I always figured that they would at least love that they would love this country enough that they would want to make sure. Well, even Obama, he shut the border down. When Clinton was president, he shut the border. In fact, when Clinton was president, he was against it. He wanted to make sure it beefed up border security. Obama shut down, so we can't have these people coming in. Now, I think. But
that was in his previous, right?
Yeah, that was
not in this administration that he's running, but the previous.
But now you can blame it on somebody else, so it doesn't matter. I mean,
Yeah, that's why.
Yeah, and so, but why? Of course, obviously they're trying to get illegals to vote, but and also too, think about the census. So and when the census gets taken, people there'll be seats that shift, in Congress and things like that. If they shift these people in, California lost some seats this last census, and New York lost some seats, and so if they get these illegal aliens there, and they somehow, some way, they have until 2030 to get them the rights to vote. Then they can actually shift them, the House, which people don't think about that. One of my good friends thought about that one day. You're like, you know what, Craig, they're doing this, to get seats, more seats in the House. They're, because you understand, in the political things, these people work the long game. It's not just, next year, whatever. I mean, supposedly, like, COVID was in 2015 or something. They patented COVID or something like that. 2017, I can't remember what it was. And so it took a long time for COVID to actually, hit, because, it was supposed to hit.
Well, they were holding it for the right minute.
Supposedly.
It was perfectly timed. Well, I want to ask you a question.
All right.
I heard that there was a congressman that was retiring, and he announced I think it was Nebraska. I gotta look it up, but he was supposed to retire. He says April 19th, but if he retires April 8th or 9th, then they can fill that position, and if he doesn't, then it's too late. We have to wait until the election for that. So that kind of compromises us again in Congress. Have you heard anything about that?
No, but I wouldn't be surprised. I mean, these people, just because you have an R by your name doesn't mean that you're on the right team. Or, the other side about it is, and I'm the kind of person, I have morals and I have things, but I know people, okay, I'm not saying anyone in Congress does this because I don't know, but I know people who've told me, says if I was in Congress and someone offered me the right amount of money, and they said, okay, you can vote 80% of the time, you can vote with your constituents,
Hmm.
but 20% of the time, I'm going to pay you this, however many millions of dollars, and you're going to vote my, what we want you to do. This guy says, man, I do it in a heartbeat. Now I wouldn't do it, but that's unfortunately there's a lot of people out there that money talks.
Yeah.
And they know the rules, and obviously we have a very thin margin. In fact, that's one thing that's kind of scary. Whatever you like or don't like about Speaker of the House Mike Johnson, if we have another vote because of these things, or because someone's absent or whatever, we could have the minority become Speaker of the House if we're
I know. Yeah.
I mean, so that's why I would just rather, if people are unhappy with Mike Johnson, I would rather let's just wait till the next Congress, and there'll be a different. We
Yeah.
can vote for another speaker, because
Yeah.
we're at razor thin margins, because
Yeah.
and there's some of our folks are never Trumpers or whatever, that I'm concerned how they might vote. They could
Yeah.
change at any
Yeah.
moment.
There's
Especially,
no loyalty in a lot of people there.
yeah, and I do think it's kind of ridiculous. I understand, that one person can decide that they want to, have another vote for Speaker's House. Now, I like Marjorie Taylor Greene, but I don't want her to do this. Not because I don't know anything positive, anything negative about Mike Johnson, but there's probably some negative things, and I get it. There's some things that he, I get it. He's in a tough position, and he's trying to, please things, and half the time it doesn't matter if it passes the House. It's not going to pass the Senate anyway, so that's a whole nother thing. And we're in a situation. People don't realize this, that we're in a situation where pretty much Congress can't pass laws for the most part. So what happens? The president makes executive orders, and then until the Supreme Court knocks them down, they become rules of the land. And so that's what Biden's done. It's what he's. Twice. He's now forgive college debt. He's not doing it because he wants to be really nice. He's doing it because he wants to get the vote of the young people. And the surprising part about it is, and that's actually the young people are the ones that started the Let's Go Brandon cheer. Well, they didn't say Let's Go Brandon, but anyway,
Yep.
they said other things
That's
that are
what they meant.
worse, that are worse than that. And these are the guys that were getting their college debt thing. But you know what? So what? They're getting their college debt thing. They're paying 3 times as much at the grocery store.
Right.
Think about this. Do you realize that when President Trump was in office, gas, at least in Oklahoma, was below $2 a gallon? It was like $1.77, something like that, and now it's like $3.77. So it's just crazy. What's going on in America?
Yeah. I got mixed feelings about that whole thing myself. If we had the luxury of holding people really, really accountable, I would like to with this whole mic thing, but I don't think we'd have that luxury right now.
Yeah, if we had a big majority,
Go ahead,
we're talking about 2 or 3 people majority. We're
right.
not talking
We
about.
don't have that luxury. We don't have that luxury.
We don't have 20 people majority or something like that. So if 1 or 2 people think, look at on the Mayorkas, whenever they were going to try to impeach him, they finally got it through. But the first time it took them twice to come through. That should be a no-brainer. There shouldn't be one Republican that would vote against it. And the reason we got it through is because we had Democrats, that voted with us. So that was, because they want to get reelected. Here's the thing: everybody wants to get reelected, and so if you're in certain districts, where it's hard for Democrats to win, then there's sometimes that, like a Joe Manchin, sometimes will vote, but he's probably going to lose anyway now, which is a good thing, because I don't want to depend on some guy that I don't know what he's going to do,
He's
half the time
wishy-washy.
he's wishy-washy. But I've actually thought about sending him a letter, thanking him, because a couple of times it was his vote that saved us. It was his and Kristen Sinema's votes that saved the republic. So it is what it is.
It is. I think it's just that us as Americans, we the people, we have forgotten that we have the power, and they have made us forget. And so what happens is that they play nice for a few, and then whatever they're convinced or threatened or whatever it is, to vote that certain way. And, you know, we come up short. We, the people, we come up short. It's not the nation that, you know, where people used to have each other's back. You know, it's all about, this is the greatest nation. No, now it's like, hey, whatever, or give me some money or whatever, and I'm with you, or I'm with you. There's no loyalty to we the people, to this nation, to how we were founded, you know. And there's all of us who make the majority, and yet our voice is so minute compared to all these loud mouths that make up the minority.
I mean, think about this. I mean, obviously, the Christian, the born again Christian, you know, makes up the majority when it comes. We are the majority, but then we got transgenders who make up like 1% of the nation. You know, they get policies passed because they holler louder. You know, and I mean, you know, you would think that if you look up transgender, you know, people, it's very small. You know, you would think it would be like 20% based upon, you know, what you hear about transgender rights and all this kind of stuff, but it's a very small thing. And I do appreciate somebody like the former Bruce Jenner. I hate to say it, you know, he's actually come against, like he goes, I'm against women in sports. He's come against transgender rights when he's a transgender, which is kind of crazy. But you know, he's also a Republican, which that's a whole nother crazy thing. But you know what? I guess we'll take it. You know,
beggars can't be choosy these days.
Yeah, I mean, well, that's something else. Okay, so you know, I was at a Republican convention here, you know, in my district, and someone brought the fact up. There was a group of people, they call themselves gay Republicans. I mean, you know, I don't agree with their lifestyle, but you know, they do vote. And you know, we should reach out to these people because we do need their votes in order to win these elections, you know. And so, you know, just because I don't agree with everyone's lifestyle doesn't mean that, you know, if they're going to vote for my political, you know, thing, I mean, I'm going to embrace them. Hey, you know, come and vote with us because we need everybody. Like I said, in order for Donald Trump to win the White House, he needs more than just Republicans. He needs to split some Democrats. He needs to, you know, get some independents. And the great thing about it is, these policies, and I've heard a number of folks in Chicago and New York that has always voted Democrats said they're voting for Donald Trump because this stuff didn't happen when Donald Trump was president. And so, you know, now they're not changing their thing. They're still Democrats, but they're like, you know,
they'll come around.
Yeah, the great thing about you know President Trump, we've lived 4 years under his policies, and so these people understand what life was like under President Trump and the life like under Biden. So I don't have a whole lot of time because I have another meeting at 1:30, and I want to grab a bite to eat real fast. But I do want to ask you guys a question. What do you think? I do not think that Biden will ultimately be the candidate. I do believe. I think that now I'll tell you what Roger Stone says, and then Roger Stone believes that what's going to happen at the Democratic National Convention, that Joe Biden is going to politely decline the nomination, and someone says, well, you know, why would he do that? Well, because they're going to put pressure on him. Because you know, if Joe Biden passed away in the middle of the night, nobody would think anything because he's old. You know, he's an old man, and so that's what. And he thinks then the delegates then at that point in time would choose the thing. I don't know if that's going to happen. I think it's going to be hard for them to win if Joe Biden is the candidate. You know, I think it's going to be hard for them to win no matter what candidate they have. But what's your guys' take on that one?
Well, what I believe is going to happen is he's going to fall and then really get hurt. He won't be able to get back up, and then he'll not be able to run. And then Michelle Obama possibly would run.
Well, yeah, that's
or Hillary might try to come back, you know. But yeah, like you said, I believe that Kamala would be the next one.
I'm sorry, Victor. Whenever you said that, I fell and I can't get up. I thought about the commercial. I mean,
I can see that as a meme on Trump's social.
Yeah, I mean, it's going to be. I think it's going to be interesting. So I'm actually curious to watch the Democratic National Convention just to see what's going to happen because I think, I mean, unless the poll, and here's the thing, Jill's getting mad at the polls now. So they realize now, Joe, he's got a million out there, but now Joe's like, they're like, the polls lie. I mean, they're getting mad because they realize they're getting beat. And, it's a crazy thing.
Well, I think they knew they were getting beat no matter what.
Yeah.
But they probably don't have everybody's support anymore to cheat. I mean, to carry it off.
Yeah. I mean, and I've said this often too. If they try to stop the election again, like they did last time, now I won't do this, but there'll be some people that will come in with guns blazing to where they're counting these votes, and hold them hostage until they make sure because we know that they were cheating on. I mean, the suitcase was under the table, in Atlanta.
Wow.
That we just pull out after everyone's gone. Let's just pull them out, and it's on camera. I mean, we got camera footage of this suitcase coming out, and nobody cares. And Trump gets sued over the whole dumb thing, and that's a whole other fiasco going on. And I know people who were at the audit, in Maricopa County, and they tell me that their boxes of just blank paper. At the top you have real ballots, and you have blank paper because they have to have enough. So people just count the boxes. Okay, there's one box that's however many ballots and whatever. And then when you open it up, there was like 7 different color of ballots. It looks like someone went to, well, I guess Kinko's doesn't exist anymore, but someone went to the copy shop and copied all bunch of ballots. And they said because whenever you mark your ballot, you put an impression in there. So there was no impression. So it was obviously a copy. And nobody has the guts to do anything about it. I mean, we all know they cheated, but it's just crazy. And I mean, these are eyewitness. I've heard it from folks that were actually at the audit. I mean, this came from workers that were there, and nothing happened. And then they cheated again. Did you hear what happened during 2022? They actually there were ballots that were too big and wouldn't go to it wouldn't fit in the machine. They printed ballots mistakenly too big, so you just had to put your ballot in the corner, and then they're going to run through the machine later on. And then some people got mad. No, I'm waiting to run it through the machine, and that's why they had to stall the election and all kinds of stuff.
That was Arizona, no?
Yeah, that was Maricopa County, Phoenix, Arizona. Yeah. I mean, it's just crazy, and they're going to try to cheat again. I don't know what they're going to do, but just mark my words. This is prophetic. I mean, they're going to try to cheat. So
yeah, and something, the people have had it. They're fed up.
Yeah,
and they're like, if you try to do another pandemic, if they try to do more election fraud, if they try to do anything, we are awake. They're going to be in trouble. And finally, there's people out there that are crazy enough to do what you were saying. They'll go over there and say, okay, show us all the ballots right now, because we have the power as the people. We have the power,
Yeah.
So, yeah, you're right. And it's coming to that. Matter of fact, there's a movie coming out, I think, next week or this coming week called Civil War. And it's kind of interesting.
Speaking of movies, I want everyone know that Twister 2 is coming out in July. And if you want to know what it's like living in Oklahoma, go see Twister 2 or go see Twister 1. So I tell all our incoming students, because I have them first term. I said, if you haven't seen it already, you need to see the movie Twister, because at some point in time we're going to have tornadoes here in Oklahoma. So you need to prepare yourself. And so
that's true.
It's kind of a joke, but it's kind of true as well. I mean, not everything is but I actually have seen a tornado move semis and different things like that. Now so
wow,
it's kind of crazy. So I got to go. But once again, if you want to interested in Rainbow Bible Training College, rbtc.org right there. Pastors for Trump. Whether you're even if you're a Christian, you don't have to be a pastor. If you'll just go to pastorsfortrump.com or pastor, you can put the number 4 if you want to, or the FOR.com, and you can sign up for our prayer calls. We actually haven't had one in a while. It's not my fault. All right, Jackson Longmire, he's the one who And I said, Jackson, we need a prayer.
Oh, Jackson, we know Jackson.
Yeah, we need to do another prayer call. So I'm trying to do a prayer call with Laura Trump, because now Laura is actually the coach. So we had Laura here in Tulsa the other day. In fact, General, well, we have Rudy Giuliani coming up this week in Tulsa. He's there, and then General Flynn's bringing his movie to Tulsa coming up in May. But you know, we're going to try to get Laura Trump on a prayer call to let us know. Also, you know, we have a prayer call, but also when we want to know what we can do as individuals, you know, to help this nation. And now with her RNC co-chair thing, that would be great. So it should be coming up pretty soon. I don't know when it's going to happen, but if you go to pastorsfortrump.com, sign up for the prayer call, you'll start getting emails and you can find out what's going on with that. Like I said, we're excited about things going on. I got 15 minutes to get a bite to eat, man. God bless you guys.
Man. God bless you. We love you.
Love you too. Take care.
All right. Talk to you soon.
All right. God bless.
God bless. Well, that was a good show. So, you know, yes, we love Pastor Craig Hagin. Of course, you know, his grandfather was Kenneth Hagin, a tremendous man of God, tremendous story. You should research it, and you'll see some old video clips of how the Holy Spirit used to move in that college, and still going strong. And it's of the Lord, because it's very, 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 very powerful teachings and anointing over Craig, over that church, over the school. So I invite you, please, to reach out to, if you're thinking of sending your kids to college and you want a good Christian college, Rhema Bible College is one of the best for Christian colleges. Yeah. So, you know, recapping a little bit what we talked about, you know, we really have to start praying right now, because we're in the election time, and that God will protect all the ballot areas, that God will send his angels there to stop these people from committing fraud, because that's what it is. They brought all these illegal immigrants over here. Also, they're giving them all these rights, trying to throw citizenship at them, so that way they will vote for the left. And that's what we don't want. And so we have to pray that God also intervenes. And I shared a word the other day about what the judgment of God is, the wrath and everything that's coming against these wicked people. And God is fed up. And the American people, we as American people, are fed up as well. We're tired of it. We're tired of, you know, the shenanigans. It's like we're living in another dimension. But anyway, so I just appreciate Pastor Craig and everything he does. And we just want to pray for him and his protection, because as you saw, you know, the Church of Satan in Colorado is hell bent to, you know, just really, I don't know, I wouldn't say attack, but, you know, it's kind of interesting, but it is an attack in a way, trying to convince someone of a lie. It's just, you know, right, babe, it's like these people actually believe that what they're doing is right. And what's sad is their soul will be damned for eternity, because they have decided to choose this path. And, you know, we have personally, you know, Joey and I have family members that are on that path, you know, and we really have to pray for them.
Yeah. And, you know, those postcards that he's getting, and other people have gotten them, I think that God's going to touch that person that's sending those cards. I really do. Because in these last few years, there's been a lot of change, and a lot of people open, you know, with open hearts, you know, that have allowed themselves to be changed. And I kind of think that that's a little bit of mockery, but that's overkill, the way the person keeps sending him these cards. So I just pray that, you know, that God reveal himself to not only that person, but other people that have that same destructive and satanic, demonic spirit attached to them, You know, I break that in the name of Jesus. And for family members that are still in deceivement, that are just under a spell of confusion and anger and, you know, just whoa, that word that always jumps out, whoa, that cause good bad and bad good, that the Lord lift up that spirit of evilness from all our family members and from our nation, in Jesus' name.
Yeah, that's right. And you know, I implore you, even on this day where the solar eclipse is happening, who knows? There's a lot of stuff actually happening right now that we've been hearing about, a lot of demonic things. And
I think your sound.
Is it on?
Okay, go ahead.
Can you hear me?
It's better now.
Okay. We've just been having a little bit of technical stuff, but anyway, you know, if you're not right with the Lord right now, if there's anything in your life that you need to make right, I implore you to do it. You got to do it, because if you don't, things aren't going to be good for what you're not going to be ready for what you're going to see. The full demonic forces are, look, they got a thing. We just talked about it earlier called demonic face syndrome. Where
I did a show last night on it.
My wife did a show on it last night. You should watch it. But it's where people are beginning to see, they have 75 new cases that people are beginning to see demonic faces, and they're calling it a syndrome. Well, it's not a syndrome. It's because these evil demonic entities, which are fallen angels or whatever, they're, how would you say, they're breaking it to everyone slowly. They're going to reveal themselves for who they really are. And it's getting ready to happen. And you got to be ready for it. So I implore you to change your ways if you need them, or pray for those, your family, your friends, those who are blind and deceived right now. Listen, the hand of God is coming strong, because God is done with the wickedness in all things. And that's even in the church. Okay. So in this nation, especially.
Yeah. And you know what, I was thinking about that whole demon syndrome thing, and you know, they are trying to normalize it, but I think it goes even further than that. It's like, so that somebody who actually sees that doesn't put two and two together and know that God is letting them see in the supernatural that person or entity the way it really is. So it's like their way of covering it up, normalizing it, and also making that person feel like they're crazy. You know, we as children of God, we know that if we see something demonic, it's demonic, you know. And I'm thinking that these people that are coming forward seeing this, they're not really grounded Christians. So imagine if these demons are revealing themselves to these people, imagine what we're going to be seeing very soon. And it's not a syndrome. It's, you know, it is what it is.
Let me show you this little clip of what we're talking about. So basically, what's happening, like my wife was saying, is the eyes of people are going to be open. The veil between the supernatural and the natural is beginning to unfold. And this is, I'm not just saying it, many other brothers and sisters, Lord, are prophesying this and it's happening. So, you know, again, I implore you to please pray. We must pray strong, and we must really, 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 really get tight with God and know his voice, because the voices of deception are here. And in the word, they're called the spirit of Antichrist. Well, it's here. You know, everything that is against God is Antichrist, right? That's what it was described by the apostles, by the disciples in the word. And it is as in the days of Noah, we are here, you know, men lovers of themselves, of men, and women lovers of women, and the sexual immorality that's being passed to our children and being taught to our children, and they're emasculating men and transforming women into men and men into women. You know, that's not God. You know, let me say this, and when you look at it as in a scientific view, okay, our creator, all right, he's our creator, right? He formed us in the womb. He created us with a specific code of our DNA to be who we are for a purpose. Everything that's created is created for a purpose. Plants and vegetables and fruit are grown for us to consume, and the purpose is to keep us healthy, right? When God created us through our DNA and everything, he created a specific genetic code, okay, in us to be who we are. When you change who you are, then you no longer are godly. You are whoever you want to be. Now, when we were talking about the jab earlier with brother Craig Hagin, the genetic strands that are put into that jab in the RNA, DNA, and all that, many people who have gotten this are no longer who they were, because it's a genetic strand of, I believe, Lucifer, which was created synthetically in a lab. That's my position on that. But the whole thing is that God has set us apart as his remnant, as his children. We must be ready for what's coming. You must tell your children, you must teach them to be ready. Put on your armor, be ready every day, anoint yourself, consecrate yourself before the Lord, because when you start going out there in the public, you're going to start seeing more and more things transforming. This demonic face syndrome is nothing compared to what's coming, what we're going to see, you know.
That's true.
So this concludes the show. And we want to thank everybody for watching. Please like, share, and subscribe. Share this video and all the other videos. Please share others. We're trying to, this will help us out immensely to get people to watch our videos and spread the word of truth. That's what we're here for. We're not here for us. We're here for you. You know, we're here to share what God has revealed to us. We have videos that go back to 2020 and 2021 and 2022 and 2023. Please go back into the archive videos. You can go to www.inTruthNews.com. That's our website. You can see all the videos there. Also on our YouTube, inTruthNews, which is on YouTube, and also on Rumble, inTruthNews on Rumble. Please share with as many people as you can. On Facebook, we have an inTruthNews page as well. So, you know, just let's get the word out. And if God is sharing something with you that you need to share, do not hold that like the candle. You don't hold it and hide it. You have to shed that light and spread that light. God is calling you out right now. He's calling you out for that. You know, one of our very dear sisters, Julie Green, who has Julie Green Ministries, was giving a tremendous testimony. You should watch it. She had anxiety, she had fear, and God delivered her of it. And now God is using her in such a tremendous way to share the gospel in the truth, and also, you know, all the truth that's going on. And I want to say, if you're going to a church or a place of gathering that is not teaching the truth, that is pushing the agenda of the wicked, that is compromising, allowing sexual immoral people or sexual immorality in their church, you don't need to go there. You don't. Church will not save you. Church will not make you a Christian or make you a child of God. You have to have a true repentance and you have to have a true transformation through deliverance, and then you have to have a true profound relationship. And then if you're going to gather, I'm not against gathering, I'm not against churches, but I am against churches that allow lies and deception into their congregation. These pastors that are doing these things are held accountable before God, not only for their lives, but for the blood of others. Because if they were pushing the jab, how many people have died in their church from it? That blood is on their hands. You see? So, I implore you again and again and again, after the word that I shared, go on to inTruthNews and you'll see it on YouTube. It's called My Final Word. But in that, God was saying, this is it. The door of mercy is closing. It is here, people. God doesn't want us to go to hell. He doesn't want us to be away from him for eternity. That's not his desire. So again, get right with God. Get close to God. And if you need to reach out to us, you can reach out to us to inTruthNewsUSA@gmail.com. You can reach out to us for any prayer. You can go to www.inTruthNews.com. Also on our Facebook, inTruth News. You can reach out to my wife Jolie or myself also. And any questions you may have, we also can help you if you have had the jab, but you only got it once and you're trying to get rid of it. There's a formula that we put together that we are going to be sharing with everyone, which includes ivermectin, hydrochloroquine, and different ingredients as well. So, God loves you so much, and we love you so much, and we thank you. And we're trying to spread the word and grow this channel and grow what we're sharing. And today, please be vigilant. Cover yourselves with the blood of Yeshua, which is Jesus. Surround yourself with your armor. If you have to go somewhere and you go somewhere, please protect yourself, because a lot is happening right now. And the areas, especially where this darkness is going to occur, please be ready. Please be ready. Okay. Well, thank you again for watching the show. We're going to have more. We're going to be producing more videos. And hopefully, we'll everything will be the way God wants, because we're praying for that. And we're praying for this nation, praying for our president as well. And that's not that usurper that's in there right now. That's number 45.
Amen. So thank you for watching, and we love you guys. And go back and watch the shows we've put together in the last few days. And make sure you sign up for our newsletter, which is going out daily, because there's so much news. So we stand together. We're children of God, and we love you, and we're so grateful to have you on our team.
God bless.
God bless.
Americans, wherever you are, I wish I had words of comfort to give you, like the warm winds that this Nazi general sent down from above. But for me, you will not get comfort, only the cold, agonizing truth. And the truth is, this great nation has been raped and pillaged by the greatest and Americans, wherever you are, I wish I had words of comfort to give you, like the warm winds that this Nazi general sent down from above. But for me, you will not get comfort, only the cold, agonizing truth. And the truth is, this great nation has been raped and pillaged by the greatest enemy of our time. They ask you to sell your liberty, to purchase your safety, to kneel to the new order, to submit to the winds of change. But my fellow Americans, they that sow the wind shall reap the whirlwind. You were born in the land of the free. You fought the kings of old and broke them. You gave your lives for the simplest but most essential truth of all. Give me liberty or give me death. In your veins runs the blood of revolutionaries. So tonight, seek out your oppressors wherever they are and tell them, we don't want nothing, not a thing from you. Tonight, we show those that sow the wind that we are the whirlwind.